For the second weekend in a row, Marvel's return to form, the best film that they have put out in years, okay? This one's different, guys. It's a real return to form because now we're focusing on characters. We have strong themes and the Thunderbolts is dominating. Finally, guys, the MCU is back. We're so back. This is peak fire. Oh my god, just the amount of stupidity surrounding this. It really does make me want to rethink my position that generally speaking, people are maybe a little bit more intelligent than they appear on social media. Maybe you're just getting a specific look at a certain incredibly vocal minority of people and then just really driving it all the way back down to reality with that George Carlin quote that just think about the average person and realize that half of them are dumber than that, because holy crap, man. Again, like for everybody who's gonna say, oh, the Thunderbolts, right? And I got IMDb pulled up right here just for a different metric to pull on, because we've taken a look at the Rotten Tomato scores, and 88% from the critics and somewhere in the 90s from the audience, and that's a biased sample size. And 7.6 over on IMDb, which you got Fellowship of the Ring at like 8.9 or 8.8, and you're telling me that is only a 1.2 points better than the Thunderbolts? Please spare me. It just, man, it's crazy, right? Because there's actually quite a bit of good stuff that's out here right now, okay? In the grander scope of entertainment in general, television, movies, video games, there's quite a bit of good stuff. Of course, it's offset by a lot of slop that is out there, but on the TV front, like, I hear incredibly good things about Mobland outside of just, the reviewers that are out there that are singing its praises. Like, I know some people in real life who are watching it and enjoying it quite a bit. Andor, like the last chance for Star Wars to do something competent and proper forever, it's absolutely killing it, and its conclusory arc airs tonight. Really hope they stick the landing on that one, because I would really like to enjoy that series when it's all done and dusted. And then, of course, Clara Obscura, Expedition 33. Absolutely killing it over on video gaming, really just bringing back old mechanics and tried and tested beats in gaming that, oh wow, if you tell a coherent story with likable characters that you can actually define, not in the sense of the Thunderbolts, it's got a bunch of character work and it addresses really complicated themes. Oh great, cool. You go ahead and tell me, like, outside of one scene where the goofy ass Red Guardian, who is portrayed as just the foreign comic relief, because it's so funny, right? You can make fun of Russians, okay, you can do Russian accents, but anybody outside of that, okay, any other ethnic group outside of the big bad Russians, you can't do those accents because that's racist. And of course, you can make fun of white guys, so that's always going to be acceptable. But why is it meaningful if you have somebody who looks to be half as intelligent as latter-day Homer Simpson? Why is that meaningful if he's saying that he doesn't see any of the faults in Yelena, who is just a drunken whore? Like, that's supposed to be good character work. Oh, okay, cool. She exposited all of her problems that she just got in between the last time we seen her in Hawkeye, which I'll forgive you, nobody watched Hawkeye, but the last time that she's seen her in the MCU, she just acquired a whole bunch of neurotic personality traits and picked up a drinking problem, and now she's supposed to be more relatable, and that's a character? Like, spare me of this surface level appreciation. If you like it, that's fine. I'm not going to hold that against you. I like some bad stuff as well, but don't try to tell me that it's good. Don't try to tell me that it's deeper than it actually is, because this shit is ass. Marvel is not back, and what we're hearing coming out of the next film in this beleaguered franchise doesn't really inspire any hope moving forward. So as much as Star Wars is dead with its next iteration, Marvel is just going to be a much more long and drawn out process, because one of the, very important characters who, got defeated with the power of friendship with a bunch of people that he doesn't really know, and he only got introduced to after he got knocked out of a sarcophagus in a room that was getting set on fire by a woman that now he's theoretically going to be working for, because it's so fucking dumb. But anyways, Century creator, imagine the Thunderbolts member could be for people struggling with mental health what Black Panther was for people of color. Holy shit, man. This is the surface level bullshit that is just festoon, not just Marvel, okay, not just the cinematic universe, but the comic creators. And now, because we've gotten to a point where a lot of the storylines that we're seeing in modern day Marvel is adapting all of the stuff that killed the books 5-10 years ago. Yeah, now you're gonna start to get all of this stuff bubble up, because holy shit, the original Black Panther, what was that, 2018 that one came out or something like that? Oh, that was a phenomenon. Go back and watch that film if you're unsure. It's like, oh, I liked it at the time. It's the same thing with the Thunderbolts. Oh, I liked it at the time. I liked Multiverse of Madness at the time. It had the Sam Raimi stuff, and oh, it had all the cool visuals. But then when you really analyze the story, you go, holy shit, that was bad. And what they did to the characters that I knew beforehand, it's like, oh, they assassinated them totally and fully. Kind of like when Black Panther got his own movie. Oh, he was really cool in Civil War. What happened to him? Why does he come from a place where they decide their governmental system by trial by combat? That's kind of fucking stupid. Why are we supposed to empathize with a villain who just wants to enact a worldwide genocide of everybody who's not black? Why are we doing that? Why is that okay? That's kind of weird. What was this script co-written by Jordan Peele? But no. This is just how Marvel, Disney, whatever big corporation you want to go ahead and fix a summation to, they're playing identity politics. But because this movie, okay, the Thunderbolts, oh, it's not woke and it doesn't attack me, then you'll just turn off your brain and accept the rest of the propaganda that's out there. Like, Jesus Christ, man, they don't respect you. Hold your entertainment to a higher standard. But thankfully, kind of think the public has, oh man, I don't want to give them too much credit on this one. I think they kind of got the message, at least with this one, because the Thunderbolts was always going to be an uphill proposition, right? Just a ragtag group of Z-list characters, okay, plundering the depths of Black Widow, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like, what the hell are you doing? Why? First of all, okay, if you wanted to establish a group of those characters, they probably all should have had a show or a movie dedicated to them specifically. Or if you were going to do a movie like this, at least introduce those characters more recently than 2021. Like, it was a bad idea. So yeah, everybody knew this film was likely going to flop. It was going to be wedged between a couple of things that were going to be far more prominent from Marvel, okay, between a Captain America movie and the introduction of the Fantastic Four. Yeah, you're just going to have the Marvels, or I'm sorry, the Marvels, well, that's kind of, it's not tracking that badly, but we'll take a look at the numbers here very shortly. But it definitely, like, okay, if you can only budget for, and if you wanted to take a look at the inflated ticket prices that are out there, if you wanted to go to the theater and catch one or maybe two of the Marvel films that are going to be out there, because that's the amount of retardation that you can go ahead and stomach throughout the year, you would probably earmark either. And it's like, you got, fond memories of Captain America. Maybe you didn't know all the ins and outs about what has been going on after, Steve Rogers decided to pass on the shield before ultimately he comes back and either gets recast or they do a multiverse and all that crap. And because, Chris Evans can't nail down another reliable role in Hollywood because he's not a movie star, maybe he'll come back and just assume the shield and let Sam Wilson be Falcon once again. And then what ends up happening with El Falcon after that, who knows and who cares? So yeah, the Thunderbolts, it was never going to impress. That is, of course, unless it was going to be an exceptionally well-made film. Maybe it was going to be a good film. Hell, maybe it could be a great film. And because all of the marketing out there is that, oh, it's very serious. Oh, it tackles big themes. It's a story about family and understanding who you are. My themes. It'll go ahead and carry the film. It ended up resonating with a pocket of the fan base, okay? And well, the second week drop off, but we got a little bit of good news and we got a little bit of bad news on this one. The good news is it's not as catastrophic as it's normally been for the MCU, because that second week drop off, even with Captain America, it was high 60s or something like that. Not quite as bad as a Thor Love and Thunder or the Marvels, but still pretty bad nonetheless. But with the Thunderbolts, it's a little bit better. But the Thunderbolts continues underperforming at the box office. It brought in $33.1 million, which comes in under estimates of $35 million. The sixth worst second weekend in the MCU, all of which came out post-Endgame. The new Avengers isn't working. And this was all coming out of, you guessed it, the projections on Sunday without properly checking all the receipts. And yeah, it would have been optimistic to say that, yeah, a 33.1 million second weekend after the, $74 million opening weekend? Oh no, right, that got adjusted back down to 72, and oh yeah, the 33, yeah, it ended up getting adjusted down to 32.3. But hey, it's only a 56% drop off, right? And the fact that it didn't lose any theaters, bro, when you still got Sinners absolutely cleaning up, which is wild that in its third weekend, or fourth weekend at this point in time, it only dropped 33%, and it actually picked up theaters. But we'll be returning to this chart in the final video of the day, because there is something that is just below the Mendoza line that I can't quite show right there, that I don't want to spoil too badly, because if you thought that Disney was coping real hard with the Thunderbolts / the new Avengers, you ain't seen nothing yet. But really just parsing the stuff out, right? Because you take a look at the projections, the long-term projections, yeah, it finally, picked up, and now it's hitting the real bottom end of projections. And honestly, you got one more weekend, okay, because it's still relatively open highway for this upcoming long weekend up here in Canada. Not entirely sure throughout the rest of the world how they want to shake out for their May long weekends, because we have Victoria Day. That's our version of it up here. And then, of course, the weekend of the 22nd. So what would that end up being? The 25th is the holiday, if I have my math straight on that one. So yeah, Memorial Day long weekend. You have Lilo and Stitch. You have Mission Impossible, and the Thunderbolts is just going to be totally jettisoned out, because Disney's promotional machine, yeah, it's going to be moving full bore on Lilo and Stitch and Fantastic Four, because, oh boy, it's really got to work some magic on that one. So yeah, you might end up pushing, you might end up having a decent week and a decent weekend, because yeah, when you start to size the Thunderbolts up against a lot of the other competition that's out there, and then this time around, instead of throwing in a fourth Marvel movie to just really drive this home, I just went I just grabbed a couple of examples and then threw Sinners on the back end of this one, just to go and show you that yeah, there are hits that are out there in the cinema right now. It's just none of them have really borne the MCU mark. Long story short, and the takeaway from this chart right here, if it's TLDR, okay, Thunderbolts very likely is going to continue to fall behind Captain America Brave New World, which was finally denoted as a flop and a failure. And yeah, if these numbers are anything to go on, yeah, guess what? Okay, the Thunderbolts, guess what? It's going to be a flop when it's all said and done. But yeah, maybe it'll have good legs for its third weekend in release. And maybe it ends up getting on par with Captain America. But like I said before, okay, it's going to get washed out by very strong competition here next weekend. So yeah, you got one more chance. You have one more opportunity, which yeah, they made the most of in its first weekend out there. But bro, that's where the charity is likely to end, because you have the Thunderbolts and at a better second weekend than Captain America Brave New World, okay? $9 million Friday compared to a 7, 13 compared to a 12, just about 13, and then a 9.7 to an 8 flat. Yeah, that's substantially better. And when you run down the numbers, your dailies, the individual first to second week, so comparing, first Friday to second Friday, comparing Saturdays and Sundays, it's better than what they usually get. But in all honesty, it's not enough to run back and turn a profit on this project, because, okay, cool. You have the announced budgets for this, and as far as I know, there was some filming that took place across the sea. Oh, is it going to be subject to tariffs? Oh my God, the stupidity of some of those questions that's out there. We'll talk about that later this week, I'm sure. But I think we're going to properly get the budget for as much as, $180 million. I think it's probably closer to that $250 mark. It's not going to be as egregious as the actual budget for Captain America Brave New World, which went through several rounds of reshoots. That 180 is probably for the original budget, and it doesn't factor in any of the very obvious new production that went on that one. But yeah, the Marvels was filmed, so we got the receipts on that one after they announced that, this one's only costing 180. There were articles after articles about that one. Same with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and that's how they spun. It ended up making a profit. Okay, I made $87,000, and then the actual numbers came out and it's like, actually, Yeah, I lost a lot of money. But anyways, the shills out there can go ahead and say that, oh, the Thunderbolts is important. Marvel is so back. But in reality, nobody cares. That's the big thing. Cool, you had a less than severe drop-off, a less than customary, a Marvel 60 to 70% drop-off. That's great, but when you started out low, when you started out on the 10th floor, as opposed to the 20th, let's just say your permanent solution to temporary problems gets taken care of quicker, but still as effectively. We'll catch you around for the Fantastic Four, right? I'm sure that's good. That's going to be a return to form because it's going to have characters because we have actors, and it's going to have themes because they're like a family. I can't wait to go through all of this rigmarole again in a couple months' time. It's going to be so much fun. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.